gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Cyrus Cherry puts $10 on a super trap. He says, this is why black women are stuck with community. DBTW, I'm wondering if men are generally turned off by women due to their lack of feminism or femininity. I guess that's what he meant. Been the way in the black community. Now it's spreading. Yes. So the rise of porn and the internet culture. So, you know, we all know that porn keeps men from approaching women. You have women saying, oh, well, men aren't approaching anymore. So there's so many things that contradict what they're saying. Well, the men are the problem. They're the ones who hold responsibility. No, baby. No. For one, you like to say, oh, men aren't approaching anymore. Well, if the man ain't approaching, he's not getting sex. Point blank. Oh, well, men don't approach us in public anymore. So how can it be that men are also the ones out here fucking? Okay. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. So there are a lot of contradictions in the arguments. There are a lot of contradictions in the argument. But I do want to get into this this situation right here. Let's see. I want to show you how specifically in the black community, black women deal with these abortions, their mindset to these abortions. Okay. Let me see if I can find this video. I did a video on it, man, years ago when I was doing the Quarantino to God shit until that shit got shadow banned. Which was horrible. Let me see if I can find this. I might actually have to pull it up from my archives. But what we're gonna let's we're gonna break down this B. Simone video in the meantime. She talks about having an abortion. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by women making bad decisions. Let's get it.
Probably a year after starting to,
crazy.
I know.
We've never discussed this.
I know.
Since that day, we've never discussed it.
All right, let's talk about it now then. Jeez,
Yeah.
we're all waiting.
I know.
Let us get the moment.
Wow,
on
I'm just like,
camera, 'cause
wow, we've never really talked about this. Okay, so
ever.
after a
Give
year,
me my drink, please.
yeah, please, let me get a sip
Wow.
too before.
We've never talked about this, so I'm glad you're getting it on the Know For Sure podcast. Because what I knew for sure then,
Jesus,
was
and
that
what
I
I
wasn't
knew for
ready.
sure then,
Baby girl.
I don't agree with now.
wow,
We were in Charlotte. It was All-Star Weekend, and at the time, I was still living in Ohio, so I was flying wherever B was because I traveled with her. So wherever we were, I would meet her there, and we were in Charlotte. And she had an event, and I noticed, like, B, are you okay? Like, what is going on with you? She was just super moody, more than I've ever experienced from her before. I mean, like, she was I was like, this is so unusual. And her boobs were so big, and she was just so tired. And we get to this event, and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. And I was like, okay.
So notice she said she was in Charlotte. She was in Charlotte. And who did B. Simone have a crush on in Charlotte? Somebody put in the chat who B. Simone had a crush on in Charlotte. Okay. What Charlotte rapper did B. Simone have a crush on? Okay. I'll wait. There we go. Rod got it. The baby. So this woman is out here talking about she got pregnant in Charlotte, realized she was pregnant. Okay. She had a big crush on the baby, and then she aborted the baby. Wow, you can't make this shit up.
Hey, let's figure it out. I was like, it's gonna be okay. I was like, no, maybe it's just
And that
it's your birth control. It's just that event crazy.
Was the day I met my ex, my recent ex. But
this was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. We'll get a pregnancy test and we'll figure it out. So I think me and her both kind of went on with that night, not thinking anything, right? We're just like, okay, she's not pregnant. Like, she's not pregnant. And so the next day or that night, we had someone run to the store for us, and she took it the first thing in the morning, like literally before she opened, like I hadn't even opened my eyes yet.
So she got fucking cream pied and didn't take a plan B. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Okay? Because we can blame the men all we want, but what are they going to say at the end? My body, my choice. At the end of the day, men have no reproductive rights. So whose fault is that at the end of the day? I'm not saying men don't take a percentage of the accountability, right? But the majority of the accountability is on the woman. The majority of the accountability is on the woman. Okay? If you know that a nigga just nutted in you and you don't take a plan B and you just, oh, well, I'm not ovulating this time. I'm not ovulating this time of the month. So there's no way I'm gonna get pregnant. Like that's where what they're basing their shit off of a lot of the times. And you have a woman like this who's got money, got status, and she is still going to make the excuse, well, women don't have access to birth control and women don't have access. Bitch, you're rich. You could have bought a plan B. Like you literally let the nigga bust in you, didn't buy a plan B. You're not on birth control and you're out here having raw sex. And we're supposed to go, well, these men need to be more responsible with their dick. Y'all fucking like 2 out of 10 niggas. So out of 10 niggas, there are 8 responsible men. And guess the ones that you choose. No. Guess which ones they choose. The 2 irresponsible men.
And I'm sitting in the bed and she's like, she gets up and she goes to the bathroom. She comes out of the bathroom and she's bawling.
Let me repeat. Men have no control over if the woman decides to keep or terminate that child. Point blank, period. If she doesn't want the child, if he doesn't want the child, rather, she can keep it. If he wants the child, she can abort it.
Wow.
And I'm like, and she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, no, because I knew who it was with. And I was just like, no.
She knew who it was. Can you enlighten us? Who was it with? Whose baby did she abort?
No. Take it again. Like, no. And I think there was 2 in the box. I don't know if you took this.
So understand how she reacted when she said, I knew who it was with. No, take the birth control again. We have to confirm that you're actually pregnant. Like, this can't be like. So y'all are tripping because you got pregnant by a man that is not a responsible man. Like, and I'm not saying that she actually got pregnant with the baby, but it's like they're giving innuendos that, hey, I was in Charlotte. I hooked up with a guy. And obviously we know the baby is from Charlotte. We know that B. Simone had a crush. So let's say it was the baby. You see how the baby treats his baby mother. Okay? You see how the baby, he kicked her out in the middle of the night to bring in another woman. And you still have sex with the man. You still have sex with the man. On what, and this is what women don't want to talk about. When does the responsibility fall on the woman? They always want to skirt the responsibility when they have 100% autonomy on what happens and if that child comes to term. Okay? Point blank. Cyrus Cherries with the $10 super chat. He says, what about the men that eliminate women who refuse abortions? What's going to happen to women when abortion is no longer an option? Yeah, that's a good point too. that happens as well. I actually did a story on this guy in the military, a former military guy who murked his baby mama, and that was in, I believe it was in LaGrange, Georgia. He literally pulled up beside her because, I mean, she had multiple kids already, and he was married. He was married, and he didn't want the woman to come through with the pregnancy, but she did anyway. Okay, she did anyway. She went through the pregnancy, or she tried to at least, and he murked her, unfortunately, which I do not condone at all. You know, we come down hard on these super gremlins, but that just goes to show my point that men have no reproductive rights. Okay, you don't get to decide if that woman keeps or eliminates that pregnancy. And I'm going to try and find, oh man, I did this video a long time ago, like late last year, and the man literally killed the woman because she went through with the pregnancy and he was married.
The second one or not, I don't really remember.
No.
But I remember her screaming. I remember her screaming and being like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I mean, she was so upset, so angry at herself. She was screaming.
All right, so guys, this is what I'm going to ask in the poll. We're going to ask a question in the poll. How much responsibility do men have? Like, how much responsibility do men bear when it comes to these women getting pregnant or whatnot, or having abortions? All right. So let's see how much responsibility do men have? How about we ask it like this? How much responsibility do men have for making women single mothers? All right. Because I want to know. Let's see how many options we can add. So we'll say the first, we'll say 0 to 20%. Second, we'll say 20 to 40%. Third, we'll go 40 to 60%. And then the last part, we'll go 60 to 100. All right. So what percentage, how much responsibility do men have for making women single mothers and whatnot? Okay. So vote on the poll. Vote on the poll. This is how your voice can be heard. This is how your voice can be heard. So let's listen to how these women treat abortion.
Screaming, she was mad. And I'm like, okay, so
hold on. So she's screaming and mad because she let a nigga nut in her and didn't handle her responsibility.
Angry at herself. She was screaming, she was mad. And I'm like, okay, so my role is to fix shit. I have to fix the problem or find a solution. So I'm like, okay.
So her role is to fix it. Her role is to fix it. Notice how she speaks about aborting a child. I'm gonna fix it. Oh, okay.
Okay, well, all right, what do you want to do? Like, what is it that you want to do? She's like, I can't keep this baby. Like, I cannot keep this baby. I can't.
Why not? You have the means. You're financially stable enough. Why can't you keep the child? Why not? Why can't she keep the child? And these are the same women who are saying, "Oh, they're killing us in the street." Well, you're killing us in the fucking on the operating table. You're killing us on the operation table. All right.
Now, the reason why this is the greatest lesson that she's taught me is because a little bit about me. I grew up in church, like church. Like my mom is a.
So here we go. These fake Christian women. I grew up in church, but you're condoning abortion. This shit is sick. This is why black men have left the church, because y'all bitches don't have no morals. They're letting everybody in the church. Oh, you got 3 kids by 30 different niggas. Come on into the congregation, baby. No, it's no problem. It's the man's fault. Right? You will have women go on Kendra G's show, got 4 kids by 4 different baby daddies. Their youngest kid is 2 years old. She goes and asks them, well, why you ain't with the last baby daddy? Why are you not with the man that you recently had a kid with? She says, oh, well, it was just a one-night stand. So after 3 children, you still haven't learned to keep your fucking legs closed. After 3 kids, you still have not learned your lesson. And you're having children with men who 100% do not want to be involved in that kid's life. Okay? This is wild. And these women are up here trying to, oh, well, I'm a Christian woman and I'm in the church. No, you're not. You're not. You're a modern day Bathsheba.
A bit about me. I grew up in church, like church. Like my mom is a licensed minister.
Both
my
of
mom
our parents
has
are pastors.
Yeah, my mom has a master's degree in divinity. Like,
what does the Bible say about women being pastors? And then we got all these female pastors. Look, I'm not saying that you can't be a pastor, but if y'all really want to live by that word, live by the word.
my mom is super saved, right? But
Your mom's super saved. How many abortions has she had?
not religious, not like in a,
Bible
judgment.
thumper,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's not.
What? Oh, she's super saved. She's a theologian. She's a pastor, but she's not religious. Not in a Bible thumping way. No. If you represent that, if you represent Christ, if you represent the Bible, you thumping that bitch. Straight up. I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17. Straight up! There's no way you go, oh, well, she's saved and she's a Christian, but she ain't no Bible thumper. No! You thumping that Bible on everybody's head. You know? You putting holy water on bitches. Bow! There's no in between. Your mother is a lukewarm Christian. And I'm not even out here trying to act holier than thou. But if you rep that shit, stand on that shit. Stand on that shit. You talk, oh, well, she ain't religious, but she's a pastor. Nah. No. Oh, not in a judgmental way. This is what's wrong with the church today.
As a master's degree in divinity. Like my mom is super saved, right? But not religious, not like in a,
Wow, I can't believe I ran it back, but she really stood on, not religious, not in a Bible thumping way. Okay.
Judgment.
thumper,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's not a Bible thumper. She's not like these weirdos, but
So she doesn't believe in the Bible. That's really what it is. It's convenient. It makes her feel better to go to church and we lift our hands in the sanctuary. Ha! We lift our hands to give you the praise. Ha! We lift our hands to give you the glory. And we will praise him for the rest of our days. It makes her feel good to listen to the gospel music and scream in the church, oh, Lord Jesus. Lord, he saved me. Thank you, Jesus. Okay? It makes her feel good to do all that shit. But when it comes to living by the word, living by the doctrine, living by the gospel, being Christ-like, oh, no, well, you don't have to listen to all that shit. You don't have to listen to all that Bible mumbo jumbo. Thou art thou. They ain't even talking normal. You don't have to listen to all that shit.
Anytime something happened, I'd be like, make an ask your mom.
Ask your mom.
Yeah. Baby, I don't know.
For sure.
Ask your mom.
No, watch her mom gave her watch how sick these women are. Watch her mom giving her the advice. Yeah, baby, you should just go ahead and terminate that pregnancy, honey.
She are for sure. So I didn't grow up with this idea that abortion was a good thing. And I was very judgmental of people who did it.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Because when you're presented with this situation, you weren't judgmental at all.
Growing up, very judgmental. Like, how could you? How dare you? How could you? How dare you? It wasn't until I had my oldest son, I got pregnant with my oldest son, did that changed for me a little bit when I found myself at an abortion clinic.
Oh, God. Of course. Of course. Woman raised in the church, has premarital sex, gets pregnant by a man who she's not with. Look at her finger, no ring. She's a Christian. She goes to an abortion clinic and contemplating aborting her child. This is hilarious.
Woo!
And that changed for me
I didn't even
because
know
I
this.
considered it.
Right.
I considered it
Wow.
because of the shame that I felt that I got pregnant at 19 with somebody I barely knew.
Wow.
And who raised her? Her mama, who was a pastor, a theologian. She got pregnant by a nigga that she barely knew. How much you want to bet this nigga was a Pookie and Ray Ray, Thuggo and them? So this is the crazy shit. You have women in the chat talking about, well, it's the men's responsibility to don't nut in the bitch if you don't want to get. You literally have a woman saying that she got pregnant by a nigga that she didn't fucking know. She didn't know the nigga from a can of paint. And she let this nigga paint her walls. She didn't know if this nigga had herpes. She didn't know if the nigga had chlamydia. She didn't know that the nigga had AIDS. She didn't know if this nigga had monkeypox. And you still have women. Well, it's the man's fault because he nutted in her. And nigga, this is a nigga who don't even know the bitch. You fucked the nigga that you don't know. He could have been a serial killer. And then we have women out here. Oh, well, these men are creeps. Bitch, you're a creep. You fucked the nigga that you knew for 2 hours. Are you fucking kidding me? At 19. And this is why black men don't want to come behind that. I'm not responsible for your bad decisions. I'm not going to date a woman who has a child. You fucked a nigga that you didn't know after 2 hours of knowing him, but you made me wait 2 months. We are not going for that. We're not going for that. Okay? This is why it's so hard for black men, especially once they get educated and get a bag. We know 33% of black men who are college educated date interracially. This is why. Because even if the women are educated and college educated, they still fucking a nigga they don't fucking know. And not requiring them to wear a condo. You can't make this shit the fuck up. And I'm telling you guys, this is majority of them. Majority. Not a minority. A majority.
Changed for me
I didn't even
because
know
I
this.
considered it.
Right.
I considered it
Wow.
because of the shame that I felt that I got pregnant at 19 with somebody I barely knew.
Wow.
And so situations change your perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to drop the StreamYard link. If the women disagree, you can come up. If you're talking in the chat, being a keyboard warrior, unless you put a super trap on it, it's not really doing much, okay? If you really want to talk about this, I'm gonna put the StreamYard link in once we get through this video. But I mean, let's keep it a buck. This woman fucked the nigga that she didn't know and considered aborting the child. Now she has a child, and I guarantee, oh, well, he a deadbeat. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, you literally had a child with a nigga that you did not know, and now every man who comes after that really has to like, oh, well, he's got to come up to this standard because I ain't making the same mistake again. You're already done. You already lost. And the reason why I can stand so confident because 60% of black men don't even have fucking kids. So that just even furthers the point that y'all are fucking 20% of the men. So out of 10 men, you choose the 2 most irresponsible men. Why? Because he looked it good. He looked it good. He had tattoos. He had swag. He was sagging his pants and had a Hermes belt on. And he was a drug dealer, a scammer, a trapper. That's why. Point blank.
But we found a clinic, and because we needed to get there first thing in the morning, we canceled our flight and drove back to Atlanta. And I was supposed to go home, and she was like, you can't leave me. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I will drive with you back to Atlanta, and I will leave when you need me to leave. No problem. So we get there. I make the appointment. You know, we get there.
I take the pregnancy test, and then I get on stage.
Yeah, keep that in mind. She still has to do shows.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to go in. Oh, come on, G.
I mean, this was only the second day we were there, so she still has to like
I was
work.
like, okay.
Traumatic. Yeah.
I was on stage like,
I'm holding in my fucking tears.
No, she's
Laugh so I can not cry.
She's on stage, and part of her set is talking about getting pregnant.
right.
Wow.
And she
Hit that PayPal, hit that Cash App, hit that Super Trap. You already know what it is. BGZM New 17 Black Gen Z Mindset. Let's get it.
has to say something about an abortion, and you said something or about like whatever. You're like, and then she goes, not that I've ever had, not that I've ever.
Yo, shout out to LC. She put $25 on the PayPal. She said, you're the son I never had. Yo, shout out to LC. Appreciate that with the $25 PayPal.
Been pregnant. And it was like,
Because that's a part of my set.
it's a part of her set.
Yeah. Up until that moment, I had never been pregnant.
And so I was just like, it was so heavy on me because I didn't know how to feel. I didn't want her to get rid of the baby at the time. I didn't want her to do that.
She should have kept it. She should have kept it. Okay? She should have fucking kept it. Point blank. Especially if it was the baby's kid. Right? Right? But no. She decided not to. She should have popped the plan B after she let the baby nut in her. Allegedly.
I did not want her to do that at that time. I just didn't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew she couldn't have that baby. I'm like, you know what I mean? So I was really torn.
It goes to say, like, you never know, never say never.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Because when before then, my dad's a pastor. I'm Christian. I'm not.
Really? If these women's parents are pastors and they can't even keep them from fucking Pookie and Ray Ray, understand this. The parents at this point, at this stage, parents have no weight in the way that these women are like. After these women, like once these women start listening to hip hop music, it's over. It's done. It's over. It's over. O-V. Dunzo. Once she start listening to the rap music, the parents' influence goes straight out the fucking window. It's the same with the Super Gremlins, okay? It really is. Okay? But both of them have clergymen in their families. Immediate family members who are part of the church. And they still made the same irresponsible decision. Still fucked a man they didn't know.
I would never have an abortion. I've never been pregnant either.
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant, I was like, you need to make the appointment.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it was a no-brainer. It was a
wasn't
no-brainer for
pray
her.
on it.
Wow, she didn't even pray on it. Jesus Christ. And these are the women who are claiming that they're Christians. I will never, unless my dad invites me to church, or I'm never going to a church again. I am never going to a church again because this is what it's full of. This is what it is full of. I don't care if they're Baptist. I don't care if they're Methodist. I don't care if they're Episcopalian. I don't care if they're Catholic. I don't care if they're apostolic. When the women make a bad decision, when the women go against the word, the church is standing behind them. There's no type of chastisement. There's no type of, look, you need to sit in timeout. You're going to have to sit in the back of the pews for a week. No, they bring them to the front of the pews and bless them in the name of Jesus. Okay? Like, this is the problem with the damn church. She said there's no praying on it. I didn't consult counsel. I didn't go to my deacons or my pastor. I said, you need to go make that appointment, hunty. The amount of unaccountability. The amount of unaccountability. The cognitive dissonance. Okay? Honestly, it's really disgusting, bruh. It really is. Because you're claiming to be something. You're claiming to be something. But in all actuality, you're the opposite. You're the opposite. These women have the Jezebel spirit. These women have the Jezebel spirit. Okay? It's the reality, guys. And this is what we're dealing with. And this is why the bulk of the responsibility lies on them. Okay? Lies on them. It's amazing, bro, that there's no accountability. She said she didn't even pray on it. God had nothing to do with her decision on terminating the life that he tried to bless her with. She had the means. She had the money. It wasn't a decision about that.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.